Do you know your revenge style? Giving in to the dark side is something we should all do cautiously, for revenge often leaves others hurt, and though momentarily you may feel content, rarely is it long-lasting. Even the most demure and sweetest of zodiac star signs have a less than sunny temper if pushed too far, but not all of them will take revenge in the same way. Check out your sign here to see where on the toxin scale you may fall and in which ways you are most likely to strike back. Aries. With ruler of the warlike Mars, Aries not only leaves nothing to fall down, but strikes back instantly. Their revenge isn't the strategic, complicated kind. The explosive temperament will not leave any room for civilized reactions. The good thing about this is that, usually with Aries, what you see what you get. Whatever they do it immediately and openly. Phrases like revenge is a dish best served cold does this not mean anything to an Aries. The ram offends easily, but forgives as quickly. The hard part is getting through the few days when they will not speak to you at all. The icy silence and ruthless cutting off of contact that is characteristic of this sign when miffed, can make you feel like the distancing is going to be forever. Above all, the ram values honesty and candor. Show that you are genuinely contrite by saying you are sorry directly. Make sure that the Aries person sees that you did see their side of the story after all, and you will be forgiven. Taurus. Taurus might leave the impression that he is less than bothered, but, in fact, has made the ledgers of the work to be carried out. And will perform his revenge sooner or later. This sign can be very confusing to get into a conflict with because they love to argue just for the heck of it. It is like entertainment to the bulls. What seems like the end of the world and your entire relationship, is often just a drop of spit in the big sea of everything that connects the two of you. Play with the emotions. The bull will take you to war and be vicious and cruel and cutting, and then for no reason act like the dispute never happened at all. The best way to snap a bull out of starting World War III is to send them something sentimental that reminds him or her of how you connected in the first place. They are absurdly loyal and often come around on their own, even if it never feels like it. Gemini. Geminis are extremely unpredictable. If they got offended over something that really mattered to them, they can devise the most evil plan of revenge. But when the time comes to execute this wicked plan of theirs, they will simply change their minds. It is incredible to note how the same person who ignored the colleague who ate his promotion, declares war on the neighbor for the slightest scratch on his car. Gemini is a very forgiving sign. Usually, any fights they have, are caused because they don't know when to shut up. These extremists also sometimes get lost in the joy of battling with words just for the sake of it. Half the time, they don't mean their hurtful actions or words because this is a sign that will have a fight just for the sport of it. For the most part, they are very loving and forgiving individuals. Send a Gemini a present or even just give him or her a call. If the first words out of your mouth are, "I miss you and I am sorry we had a fight," you will more than likely be forgiven immediately. Cancer. This sign knows how to hold a grudge. You have to be careful not to offend this water sign because they will plot revenge against you. Cancers are fabulous at subtly undermining and disempowering those that they dislike. If you have ended up on the wrong side of a Cancer, you may be able to be restored to your former glory by sending him or her an expensive present along with a long letter of apology. Follow this up with flowers and a phone call. However, don't be surprised if this does not work immediately, as it can sometimes take months for crabs to get the chip off of their shoulder. Leo. Revenge of this egomaniacal and very proud sign is like a tsunami. Only once it subsides does it give the culprit hope that the Leo will forgive him, but only after the Leo has ruled out forever the possibility of repeating the blunder, whatever it was. Leos don't accept apologies. This is a sign that likes to argue for the sheer fun of it. A lion is usually very surprised when he or she goes too far and accidentally hurts someone. They tend to withdraw and not discuss the problem because they get embarrassed easily. If you have had a conflict with a Leo, Your best way back into his or her life is to pretend it never happened. If that doesn't work, then start joking about it. Virgo. This is a sign that can be ridiculously stubborn and vengeful. If you get on the wrong side of a Virgo, you may not be able to redeem yourself. Your best chance here is a long written apology in which you admit that the Virgo is always right and you are always wrong. Admitting complete dependency on the Virgin also helps, as this sign likes to feel needed and in control of others. Don't try to send a gift as an apology. 9 times out of 10, these purists will just send it back to you with a nasty analysis of your character attached. Libra. The sign of the scales loves drama. If there is a conflict, the Libran usually does not handle it well and makes it worse by escalating the issue until the two of you are embroiled in total war. A favorite psychological warfare tactic of the Libra is to turn a cold shoulder on you and not speak to you. This type of treatment can go on for years, or even forever, so you are well advised not to get into a fight with this stubborn sign if you can help it. However, sometimes, a sentimental card or sending them a piece of art does help repair the burnt bridge. Scorpio. Be careful, if you hurt the Scorpio, its stinger can come out and really do some serious damage. They have a hard time forgiving, and their reaction to rejection can be particularly venomous. So if you did something that awakens the vindictiveness of a Scorpio, you better change not just your home but your city or country or continent or, maybe, even your planet. Revenge of a Scorpio is excruciating, methodical and endless. Very vengeful sign. A Scorpio can go years or even his or her whole life without forgiving you. This is also a very vengeful sign that can terminate a friendship or love affair with extreme prejudice. The Scorpio individual likes to think of him or herself as an agent of karma, so for every wrong you do, they will do 10 more wrongs. However, the Scorpios will respond positively to gifts of money or opportunities to climb socially. If you invite them to just the right party or introduce him or her to just the right person, then you might be forgiven sometime in the future. Sagittarius. With a Sagittarius, chances are that thing will pass without too much bloodshed. Mainly because the representative of this sign has a tendency to not take most of what's happening personally. So, no hard feelings easily. But if you manage to wake up the revenge, because Sagittarius are human, not the merciful god, expect a prompt and dynamic response. However, the good thing is that being someone who is permanently oriented towards a better future, Sagittarius will leave it all behind. The most forgiving signs in the zodiac. For every action, there is a consequence, unless you are a Sagittarius. This is one of the most forgiving signs in the zodiac. They have an uncanny ability to truly see both sides of an argument. Therefore, if you want to offer an apology to this sign, treat it like a case made for a debating team. Outline in detail the reasons that you must be forgiven and then proffer a small sentimental gift. Follow up these appeals with the suggestion that the two of you go on some kind of small adventure together. You will be forgiven within minutes. Capricorn. This is a very proud and vengeful sign that does not forgive easily. In fact, it is quite characteristic of the goat to badmouth you and conduct hate campaigns in order to screw you up. Many people end up apologizing to goats quite simply because they fear their ability to destroy another person's reputation. Usually, a goat does not forgive, but sometimes, a pricey gift or bribe of some kind works to bring you back into his or her favor. If you do have a goat gossiping about you, there is some redemption in knowing that it often greatly lowers others' opinion of him or her and not you. Aquarius. This is not a very forgiving sign, as they see themselves as somehow being the measure of morality. They are also not a very rational sign. If an Aquarian has decided that you have bad energy, then you are probably not going to be that lucky when it comes to being forgiven. Sometimes an Aquarian will go through the pretense of forgiving you because they feel it is good for their soul, and if you can convince them of that and of your own guilt, then you might be let back into his or her life. Pisces. This is a very proud sign that does not forgive easily. Being on the wrong side of a fish can feel like you have been cast into hell. Even if they do accept your apology, you are always going to have the feeling that the fish is still holding a grudge. This sign also is often ruled by their intuition, so once they have a bad feeling about you, it can be difficult to turn it around. This sign can be very materialistic, so sometimes gifts or money can work to break the ice.